watch what grows. And when I'm through, oh, why not have it go? Take your time, steady and you can do it right. Sure she can. Enter my world, watch what grows. And when I'm through, oh, why not have it go? Oh, we paint miniatures. We paint miniatures. We paint miniatures. Turn on tuning, hear what I say. But watch it real closely, enjoy the stay. You'll see me painting from up above. And if you like it, give it mad love. Take your time, steady and you can do it right. Sure she can. Enter my world, watch what grows. And when I'm through, oh, why not have it go? Take your time, steady and you can do it right. Sure she can. Enter my world, watch what grows. And when I'm through, oh, why not have it go? We paint miniatures. 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 We paint miniatures.
We're live, and it's Shoshi from Shoshi's Magnificent Minis. Hello, everybody, and welcome. I want to say hi to people who say hi to chat. And first, Firebeard81, thank you so much for coming and watching me today. And Goron, and You Will Never Know, and Protomaker. There you are. He's picking up on me, Protomaker is, because we're doing something special today. We are going to be showing a video that we pre-recorded, Protomaker and I. Recorded because it had to take place right over there in my Airbrush booth, and it wasn't something I was going to be able to do live. So what we did was we pre-recorded it. I kind of talked my way through it so I could have the hopefully the appropriate amount of pauses and time to explain what I'm doing. And then I'm going to play it here while I'm live talking to you guys, and you'll be able to see what I was doing, and I will kind of talk, basically voice over my own video. Oh, music is a little loud. Maybe my mic is quiet. My mic is maybe a little bit quiet because it's a little bit. Is that better? kind of over up to the side. I don't know what else to do to make this. There. Now it's closer to my face. My shirt was too low cut. Is that better? Anyway, Photomaker distracted me from the business. Can you hear me now? Say something in chat if you can. Oh, now we're gonna have issues with the mic. Well, pooey. It's a little better. Okay, so then it's definitely the mic. My mic. It's a little better. I can go turn myself up. Just 1 second. I will turn myself up. Talk to my shoulder. Hey. There we go. Now we're kind of like, I'll look this way and then my mic will be here. No, that's not good. So much for having a lav mic with a low cut shirt. Anyway, of all the things that could go wrong today, you guys are amused, I bet. So let's just show you what we've been working on. Hold on a second. Okay, I've got my Karol Rudyk bust here. Clip it onto my bill. I don't think that'll quite work. Hey, Slider666, how's it going? So here's Karol Rudyk's bust. We've got all of these mounted onto little dowel rods so that I was able to prime it pretty easily. One of the things that I found while I was priming, it might have been this one. One of these had a huge, giant bubble. This one, you guys see this? It had a huge bubble in it, and I ended up having to kind of cut it out and then put Bondic in it. So that little clear bit right there is actually Bondic, and I wanted to show you that because if you have this bust, it's possible you have a hidden bubble because it was solid when I looked at it, and then I think at some point it cracked or something, and then I exposed a humongous bubble. But luckily, Bondic filled it up right away, and we didn't have any problems. Yes, Bondic is live. So these are. Let me just show you all of the pieces that go with her. She's got 2 large wings, which I'm missing a wing. Well, it's okay because we're not going to be painting her today. Let me go check for the other wing. Oh, it was right in front of me. Oh my gosh. All sorts of mic problems. I apologize, guys. Hey, JMO 500. You had a big bubble in one of yours for the helmet? Yes, Bondic is life. Okay, so this is the big. These are the 2 big ones. I did have it after all right in front of me. And then there's these 2 minor ones that go there. And these are not how they don't go out like this. I'm just setting them roughly where they go. And then she's got these 2 wing pieces for the sides of the skull, which I kind of have reversed. There we go. No? There we go. Kind of like that. That's right. We remember we labeled them all left and right. So I've got them mixed up, but that's okay. And then I've got the 2 horns for the last bit of the skull. Nuclear fission. I'm messing your name up. I'm so sorry. Welcome and thank you so much for the follow. Nuclear fission. All wings will probably fit in the top holes better last time than we figured it out. That's right. So we're not building anything today. All I'm showing you is just basically how the priming turned out. Look at how nice. I really love this feather. Because we're gonna glaze over that and leave all that beautiful pre-shading, and it's gonna make things much easier, and then we'll just pick out highlights. Reshading is a wonder when it comes to painting things fast. All right. I did put the small wings on. In fact, that was in the build. I think that was in the build video. We did that. Built everything the way it is just now. And I'm pretty sure I put the little ones on because they are so small that it doesn't really interfere too much with painting anything, I don't think. And I think also trying to prime these separate was gonna be too difficult. So we just put those in right away. But yes. Oh, let me write down nuclear fission. We got a new follower, because followers, guys, right here in this box right here, you see this big long number? 2,962. And when it rolls over to 3,000, we will schedule a giveaway stream and a party because we're going to be at 3,000 followers. So let's see. This is new followers. Nuclear prison. There we go. Thank you. All right, shall we begin? Now, I want to give you guys a little caveat. I am not an airbrush expert, and I don't want you to ever think that I claim to be an airbrush expert. So if you're watching this on YouTube after I get this uploaded and you see me make mistakes that probably beginner noobs probably should know about, I don't mind a little constructive criticism. Just don't be mean about it, and you know, I guess expect me to make mistakes. I will make them, and you know, just think about, like, everybody who's ever used an airbrush has probably made some of the same mistakes that I will make. So expect to see those as well. That being said, also, this is the first time we've ever made a video where we pre-recorded and talked over it. So this whole thing is an experiment. Hey Amberden, how's it going? Yes, Mike is the superior troll. Aren't you going to be always superior troll? I can't remember if that's your designated rank now. Alright, so we're going to start. Let's see. I'm nervous because once I start the discussion videos, we'll have there's two. There's a part 1 and a part 2 of each of the pre-recorded video of the priming, and we'll have a little break in between each one to be able to kind of answer questions. If one of you wants to be a super mensch, that can actually be a role in this chat. Super mensch. We'll make that right here. Hold on, watch this. Who is going to be our super mensch? NCSH. I think that's how you spell mensch. SCH. There you go. SCH. Mensch means esteemed person in Yiddish. Very esteemed person. Don't be nervous. We love you. Oh, thank you, Ms. Have Damage. You got them, nuclear fission, from just watching. All you have to do is watch, and you automatically get them just by hanging out in chat. So those points are used later in giveaways and things like that, which we are going to have as soon as we hit our big number, 3,000, right? And then also, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. Okay, so once we start this video, I can't really stop it. So we're just going to start, and I'm going to talk about what I'm doing, and you can ask questions. And if my super mensch, right here, do you see this? My super mensch, one of you wants to write down some questions that people ask, and then during the middle break, we will answer as many of them that I missed. And also, so the super mensch needs to keep track of any questions that I already answered so that I don't have them asked again, unless we need to like go through that further. So one of you wants to be a super mensch, let me know, and I will give you a rank later on for sure. Do we have any of our mods here? Maybe one of our mods could be a super mensch. Nope, just Protomaker. Protomaker's already a super mensch. He did this video for us. So Damn, I suspected as much. Figured the 8 GB allowance won't last long. Oh no. All right, are you guys ready? We're gonna switch over here, and I'm just gonna start this video, okay? So, playback. And I'm gonna be watching this along with you guys and explaining exactly what I'm doing. And if I face out and forget something, hopefully I won't. All right, ready? Gonna go. Okay, so this is my airbrush booth. This is the model that we've chosen to prime. And as you can see, like I've mounted them on dowel rods, which we saw in the priming video. Put everything on those little dowel rods so that I can easily hold them while I'm priming and painting. And I put them in the little foam flower pour thing. Right, put that aside. Get out my airbrush. I've got cups to hold my airbrush paint, my primer, which I use Stynal Res. Stynal Res is the only primer that I use, and I love it. By Badger, and you can get it on Amazon, and you can get it through my little Shoshi Recommends as well. And I'm pouring just a little bit, enough that it'll, you know, fill the cup and maybe a little extra. Because I'm gonna make a cocktail now with paint and 3 other products. Liquitex, Flow Aid. I'm only just putting a couple drops in each one. See, a couple drops. A little goes a long way, especially with a small amount. Airbrush thinner, and I don't know why I use these 3, but they work for me. It's when I've done this, I've never had any clogs. And yeah, guten Abend. Thank you. This is Airbrush medium. I think I forgot to mention that. Now I mix it, and that's about all I do to mix it. You can use any primer, okay? But this is just what I'm using. Cal says, boom, thank you so much for the host. So now I'm showing how the end of my airbrush, I took that off so that, because this, I've been having problems with my airbrush and the trigger has been sticking, so I kind of, okay, so I poured it a little bit more. The trigger of my airbrush has been acting up, so I take the back off so that I can adjust the needle if I need to. Got my little wing ready, and I'm gonna coat the whole thing. But first, this is what I should have done when I was making the video. See, I can't stop. I have to make little test sprays to see if it's actually even spraying out of there. So I have to pull the needle out a little bit because, again, I'm having issues. Hey, Trillian. And it's just not quite far back enough in the tube, so the paint's not coming out. So I have to, like I said, the triggers, I don't know what's going on with my airbrushes lately, but that's happening to all of them. You've been using Stynal Res with no additives. That's great. It depends on your climate and temperature on what you need. I tend to dilute almost everything, always. So I got it spraying. Now I can spray on. I'm not particularly rushing or anything, so I don't have it on particularly high. It's enough to coat it with a thin layer. Now, if my airbrush were working right, I could press it down without pressing back, because it's a dual action, and I could dry it while I'm priming it with the airbrush as well. But unfortunately, because my airbrush isn't working right, I'm only able to spray paint right now. Coat that. Hey, Nixton Minis. Cajun Mage says, also try an airbrush priming base coating minis. They're so pricey. Yes, I know. Get a cheap one. Get a really cheap one, you know? Just practice with that. I'm this adulterator, what? Okay, so now do you see how I'm starting at the bottom and working underneath the mini? Because I want to make sure all of the black primer is in all the crevices and dark areas that are on this first, because we're going to do the white on top second. But if I don't make sure all the black is well applied, then I won't be able to, I won't be able to go back and put it in there. Yeah, get one of those cheapy ones for quick base coating and priming, and it's like you don't need anything special for that. Even one of those cake airbrushes can be pretty cheap too. I think Michael's or one of the other stores has. I'm avoiding the hair because her hair is really white. I'm just getting kind of the shadows underneath the hair, but I'm not trying to paint too much of the hair. I say, I've got the sides. See, getting all of the areas takes a little while. But it's drying as I'm painting it. I think I stopped here to talk about, oh, okay. This is the end of this video. This is the end of this video. All right. So, let me see here. Here we go. So, that's the first part. I don't think this video is going to be very long because we get, the other video is a little bit just about the same length. If anybody have any questions so far, I'm going to read something that Sigwolf said. He said, Page and Mage, if you're just wanting one of those priming, base coating, and not any detail work, you could get away with one of the knockoff brands like Point Zero or Master, and start with a $30 Point Zero kit that has a little compressor in it too, and just use it for grunt work like this. And I agree completely. When I very first started airbrushing, I didn't do any painting at all. Agent Mage, thank you so much for the subscription. Write down your name here. Thank you. Your donations with the subscriptions come and they help me, do things like this paint along. Absolutely. All right, Agent Mage. All right. Yeah, so try, like I didn't use my airbrush for painting for a long time, and then eventually I just would base coat a little bit with it, just that base coat over the primer. And so I think slow and steady is the way with an airbrush, and just kind of getting a hang of things. Learning to pre-shade is just a game changer by itself, just black and white. If you can pre-shade your primers, and that's all you do with your airbrush, you don't need something fancy, and you can do so much, more exciting painting just from using those things. And Badger Stynylrez Res White is phenomenal. It barely spatters. Like a lot of primers will leave like little white dots all over everything. I've found that just take a look at this. Look at how smooth that white is. That is why I love the Badger. Okay, now we're ready for the next part. We're gonna do the second half of the playback. Here we go. Right, got Badger Stynylrez Res White, and again I made my little speech about the white, but I only use it. I think it's still playing. Playing? Mike. Looks like it's frozen. I don't know. Oh no. I don't know what to do. Gonna play the rest, Mike? Yeah, that's the second part. Did it not record? I press play. Let me try something else. Try it again. All right, I'm gonna try to press play on it again. I really hope this works. Click that scene in OBS. Okay. In OBS. Give me 1 second. I gotta run around the desk. Recreate the scene in finger puppets. No, oh my gosh. Okay, ready? Way back 2. Yeah, it's frozen, Mike. I don't know why. Playback 1 worked fine. Side eye. So, well, this is a bottle of Stynylrez. I'm gonna figure this out. Don't worry, guys. You might have to close and restart, just like Amberden said. So, what would that entail, Mike? Recreate the scene of finger puppets. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna check here. What happens if I do playback 1? Playback 1 is fine. Playback 2 is frozen. Nope. Oh man, guys, we might have to redo that. Well, so I will kind of take in Luminous' advice by removing it from the part of the scene and then re-add it and remove part of the scene. Okay, that's a techie thing. I don't know what to do. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to put my Be Right Back screen up while I figure out stuff, okay? Bear with me. Now you can hear me. So, wait a minute, it's playing. Okay, so I'm finishing the black, it looks like. Pretty sure I got all of the black on here. You guys can hear me okay now, right? Yeah, I think we got it working. We might edit all this out for the YouTube video. Sorry about that, guys, and I really appreciate your patience. You guys are amazing. In fact, I'm going to give you guys some points. Everybody who's stuck around and didn't leave is going to get some points. I'm fine, Shoshi. So all I'm doing here is I'm finishing all the priming. I'm leaving your face white. No, actually, I'm going to paint everything black. That's right. It's not gonna let me. He'll take them points. I can't remember how to do it all. Okay. You would have stuck it around anyway because you're working there for lurking. No, I didn't forget I painted everything black. It's just I got so flustered with all of the technical issues that I did. Yes, I did forget. I did. So, all right, so I think I left a little bit of her face. I did leave a little bit of her face and her hair bare because I think I wanted, but I did, okay, so I did turn it downward angle so that at least I would catch all the dark areas, the places that the hair would be in shadow. And I did the same thing on her face, leaving the highlighted bits to be covered with white. There you go. You guys all get 5 points. Okay, so now I'm doing the wings. Everybody gets a point. I'm completely covering all of the wing here with black. But I will go over those. You saw the finished wings, we did have white on everything. Everything had a little bit of white on it. For the two big wings, you see how I'm kind of, as I'm painting, I am moving the airbrush the same direction the paint is going. That keeps paint nice and even and not too thick. Moving the paint as you're, you know, if you've seen people do house painting, how they move their whole arm, you know, imagine this is like a miniature house painting done. You can really see the difference in my adulteration of the primer makes. It looks a lot wetter when you apply neat primer and it dries almost to set. Yes, exactly. Amberden is right on. When you apply it really neatly, it dries very quickly. And if your airbrush is working correctly, you can actually dry it with the dual action airbrush by just piping air at the spot that you just. Rattle cans are really, really cheap airbrushes, Rainer. However, you don't get the nice thin primer. I think it goes on a little thicker. Depends on what you use. If you use Tamiya white, that tends to spatter less than other primers, I think, the rattle cans. It's not all in the wrist. These are the little horns that grow out of the skull. And these are the smaller wings. Propellant can do stuff to the primer, yes. And depending on your climate, you can have all kinds of crazy things go on with the humidity and everything. People have had you know, their primers not frost up, but kind of act funny with the humidity. It's swampy. One thing I do is if I have to go outside to prime with a rattle can, I will grab, if it's cold out, you can actually put the can in a baggie, in a Ziploc baggie, and then warm it up before you go out, and it usually will go on pretty well. Yep, Amberden says, I added improver thinner and Liquitex acrylic medium, be a ratio of about 10:1 primer versus additives. About right. And I'm spraying all the little bits that I missed, which were, because one of the things you'll notice when you're airbrush priming is that parts of it will collect and cool, you know, if it's not being dried on the brush with the dual action. And so that means there will be thinner parts. So I had to go back and just coat all the little small areas, quick little spritz. Your follow didn't pop up, Giovanni? That's probably because we've got this crazy, yep, so now I'm talking about how I'm getting rid of the primer and get out. I'm gonna clean out my cup. But yeah, Giovanni, I'll write your name down. Thank you so much for following. All right, so I think, did I put water in it? Yep, I put water in it with my little squeeze bottle. That's all I'm doing to start out with. Sometimes I'll take a paper towel and I know you're not supposed to do this. This is one of those like noob mistakes you're not supposed to do, because you can get little fibers and stuff in there and that can get into the airbrush and then clog it. But I always try to not, you know, I try to get most of the paint out somehow, and that tends to be the fastest way. Then I get more water. And then I spray the water out until it runs clear. And you notice that I don't have all the paint on the edges of the cups out yet. That's okay, because it's gonna dry enough that it's not gonna interfere with the white. I had to go back and see, there was extra paint at the bottom of the cup, so I'm having to spray all of that out. As I will empty the water and then blow out the last of the paint. See how that's, looks like it's clean mostly, but so add the water, it looks like it's clean. I don't use any airbrush cleaner at this point. It's just because I'm priming. If I were actually switching colors or something like that, I would probably clean in between. Yes, fibers. Rainer, I'm so glad you're here. He's the expert. Fibers from the towel or chunks dry to the side. Decisions, exactly. I have a little bit of both. There's my Stynylrez white that you guys got to see for so long. And white behaves very differently than black, but I still use about the same kind of cocktail of my airbrush thinner, my flow improver, and my airbrush medium. Put that in there. It's already been mixed. Stir it around. Don't forget to stir it. Oh, thank you so much, Giovanni. That's awesome. 6 hours. Yeah, white might need a little bit more thinning. So I'm testing it out again. Always test. See how I made a little dot on the cardboard there? Want to make sure it's flowing nice and not making a spatter or spider web. If it's a spider web, you got it too thin. If it's blowing little circles and spatters, then you got it probably too thick. And I start with the part of the skull, because that's, and I also notice the angle that I'm holding it. Yep, and the trigger. I'm just doing little, I'm not pressing down solid. I'm making little, that's the sound I make when I'm doing it too. I'm making these little soft, and notice going over the chest. This is very important to keep that very smooth, which is why we're not going psh. We're just going see, and it's nice and bright. Now I'm looking at it to see, is it gonna basically take need to highlight the face a little bit. She's making little chit, not psh. That's wrong. Yeah. Okay, now I'm picking the angle that I want the light to kind of shine the most, which is about 2 o'clock. And that's where I'm giving her more light. And I'm doing it sort of at a 2 o'clock downward angle, so that I keep those shadows. Want to respect the shadows, keep the shadows while getting your light. I don't know what I'm doing here. Doing something off camera. I think I was having problems with my needle again. I'm going to be sending all my airbrushes into Badger in a little bit because I don't know what I did to them. I'm the first streamer who mixes adding paint to the airbrush cut. I learned that from Aaron Lovejoy, actually. He does all his mixing in a cup, and then he adds it slowly with a brush. And what that does is it catches all of the little crumbs and little pieces, and he's never gotten clogs ever since he's done that. And if you watch these videos, I don't clog the entire time. So now again, I'm spraying over the wings, hitting my little, yes, I thank you, Sigwolf. I'm definitely gonna be tapping into that customer support from Badger, because they will do guarantee a lot of the parts. Getting the armor. Remember, the armor is black, so we're not gonna need to highlight it a ton. But those wings are gonna be, I think, reddish. So we wanna make sure to be able to get the transparency one. Now I turn the hair so I can paint the hair downward in the direction that it's actually lying on her back. And it'll preserve the shadows, see? If it'll... Hey, Solzar. Watching a pre-recorded video of me priming, which this was so nerve-wracking, guys. I cannot tell you. Like, I was so worried that I was gonna. I think there was actually one point right after we finished filming where I like had spilled some of my white primer, and I accidentally dropped her in it, and I ran upstairs and had washed off the primer. Thankfully, all of the other primer had already cured. So now I'm testing to see how those look. I want to see where the light's gonna fall with those wings. There's my little foam thing. Stick that back in there so it doesn't fall into paint. Beside my klutz. There, we're spritzing it in the direction that the light is going to be. I think at one point I was just like, never mind, I'm just going to spray it so that it looks decent and figure out the lights later. Oh, that's the, I forgot to look at the left and right. That's the right one, so that's going to get a little side. Nope, back in the foam. Good, Shoshi. Don't leave your minis all over the place to get... See, this is a bad habit. See how I left that wing up there? If you do that, I guarantee you will get overspray on it. Don't leave your stuff there if you don't want overspray on it, like I did. So this is good. So I did a quick blast on the little hole that's in her wing, just in case the skin was thinner there. I wanted a little bit more translucency. Double. There we go. And not solid sprays, just little. This is kind of fun, guys. One of these days we'll do this again. Nope, see, I'm dropping things. That spray booth is a very small little area, and really just my hands can fit in there, and maybe that. Now, the feathers, this is important. The direction that you hold the feathers how to follow this direction. I'm spraying the feathers. Want to make sure to be able to get keep the shadows on the feathers. So you want to pick that one direction that's going to have the shadows on the bottom. Amanda Root, thank you so much for the follow. Now I get to see your name. I will put your name down and we'll show you off when we get done with this. See how I do both sides, but mostly downward. That way I preserve that beautiful lush shadow. I'm actually pretty proud of my feathers. I feel like they turned out exactly how I wanted them to. What's a bot? Oh, is it? That's funny. All right, then the horns, and I'm gonna just pretty much spray those downward also, just like I did the feathers, so that way I'm not getting shadows from the top, which we don't want, all the way around. You can always make things darker later, but it's going to be harder to make them lighter. Anything with like electrical skateboard or whatever. Thanks. Thanks, Warboy. Oh, okay. All right, that was it. That was the full priming video. Let's take a look at the model again as it falls over on my desk. Oi, oi. Okay. So we have our bot Commander Root and Giovanni, 1989R, which is tracking me. Is that good? Maybe that's good. Here she is, and I'm going to talk about how, again, I held her at a diagonal angle when I sprayed the air. Oh, I can't remember what happened here, but there was a little bit of, oh, I know what happened. Reason why this is cut off, there's a little bit of roughness here, is because I found a mold line. You will always find mold lines when you prime. Such a hassle. So I went ahead and I kind of grabbed that mold line off. So everything looks good with the black on the sides. Pretty happy with the black in the, we did the downward angle, so that way we didn't get any spray inside the eyes. Some of it will need to go darker, but like I said, we can always go darker in the spots we want, but going lighter is always going to be harder. Archimedes of Falling, you missed a lot. we just finished priming this. Yeah, no, just we primed her and then we filmed the video of it, and then so you can go back and watch the VOD to watch how we did that. Let's see. So I want to just point out these feathers again. This is the side that I'm really proud of. See the definition? And that's because we took the airbrush this way and I did it downward, and it skims over the top, but it misses all of this beautiful dark parts, and then we get a fully pre-shaded feather. Awesome. Oh, it's used by Twitch to track stats? Oh my goodness. This is why you prime when it's all dry fitted together. So then you get the, yeah. So we could have done that. We could have primed with everything together. But there's so many little pieces. What I did was I tried to just estimate. I'm putting the pieces here, deciding, okay, well, if this piece goes here and the light is going this way, technically there should be more light on this one. Like I said, we can always fix it later. The important part is to get the base layer down. Now, once you are done, let this sit for 24 hours. It will cure, and you will have a much harder time. I mean, it will be much better than if you start painting it right away. Anytime you paint anything and you let the primer cure about 24 hours, and a little heat actually can help too. So if you want to hit it with a hairdryer before you let it sit, it will be cured. It's a really important step that I learned from Matt DiPietro. So you want to check here. There might be a mold line right here and on the skull. And there was some little bits that I had to, crack off on the bottom here. But other than that, and other than the big bubble that we had here, which I had to fix, I was pretty happy with how things came out. And if there's little speckles here, see there's a couple little white speckles, that's okay. These are going to be more translucent type wings, which is why we got that one spot right there, because I want that to have a little bit more translucency. What primer? All of the primer, all of it is Stynylrez Black and Stynylrez White. And I do recommend you always wear a mask. And as you saw, I wear gloves when I prime as well, because you don't want to get that stuff on you, and you definitely don't want to breathe it. That's another reason why I didn't prime on stream. See how we have this one? Well, see, there's a little bit of, I don't know if that's mold line or primer line. We'd have both. Yeah, there we go. I might retouch that. Usually once I've got everything primed the way I want it, I usually leave it alone, because I can always cover up stuff with paint. If it's not super rough, I'll just leave it. And then the horns. These are the horns. Look. I did both colors on everything. Everything had both black and white. I don't think I want I want my horns to have probably a bone color by the time I finish. Remember, we're using, this is our reference. So the horns actually do have a color, and they're not completely white. So this is our reference. This is the we're using the concept art for our reference, and that will help us when we're laying in. See, all the lights are pretty much where I want them. Now I recommend that you go to Karol Rudyk's website and print this out so that you have this. We're going to use this as our guide on how she's going to look in the final version. So she'll look a lot different than anybody else's, because nobody else that I've seen has used the concept art as the actual, like, I mean, they've gotten similar, but it's been very different. Yeah, I did the horns I did everything with both shades. There's the horns, there's the big wings, all have both shades on them, and then both the feathers. The feather. There it is. Love the feathers. That's probably gonna. It'll be really easy, guys, because we laid in such a foundation. We really only need soft colors. Now, look at the reference. See, can you imagine us laying in a soft glaze of this pinkish red, and then boom, it's pretty much done. So these will be easy, and they will look amazing with very little effort. And then we've got the little ones. There's the little ones. So that's all of the pieces. And I need about a week or two to set up for the painting video, because I'm actually going to paint my own version. And then I will, so that way I know what I'm doing when I guide you guys. I think I'm gonna do that. I might just, you guys want me to just wing it? Or, because I think I can extemporaneously paint. I think it'd be better if I did a practice run, because I've got the extra busts. And we are going to be doing giveaways. Don't forget, every time you hang out in this chat, you're earning points. And we will be doing at least 2 bust giveaways. One will be the painted bust that we're doing on stream. One will be probably my practice bust, and then I think I have a 3rd bust that will just be a blank one that we'll give away. And we'll give these away to people who are earning points in chat and to subscribers. So I think the painted bust, sorry to say, guys, will go to subscribers because you guys are amazing. You support me so much and I love you. And then we'll have the practice painted bust go to the rest of the chat, and so on and so on. So, and then we got the blank bust, which may be to everybody, you know? So the problem while wearing a filter mask produces some entertaining gibberish on some streams. Again, another reason why I did not paint on stream. If you'd like to win an unpainted one, good, good. Just keep hanging out in chat, earn all your points. So, I have extra time. We have an hour left, guys, so guess what? I'm going to show off that. Finished it. Remember, I did some more touching up and stuff on the base. There's a little close-up on the base. You guys saw me work on most of this. Amberden gave us the idea for little bamboo sticks. I added a few little flowers that are kind of similar in color. I added a few more leaves. I'm still not thrilled with the leaves, but they work. They work enough. I might take them out and put something else in. Overall, look at Kong. He looks pretty fierce. Excited. Then allowing people to take part a couple of weeks to order any paint. Right. That's the other thing. There's still time to order your own Karol Rudyk bust from him. Say Shoshi sent you. You know, maybe he'll give you a discount. I don't know. You got to talk to him about that. But there's still time because I think I like to space things out. So maybe in another 2 weeks, we will be ready to do our first paint-along stream. And that will be live. We'll be doing that completely live. The filter mask that I use is what they call OSHA compliant. Hold on, I'll grab it. Okay. I'll take my mic off. I think it's OSHA. NIOSH, that's what it says. It's by 3M. What I use. I got the pink one because I like pink. You guys know that. And yeah, I look like a space invader, you know. Yeah, I mean it's solid. It's got these replaceable filters that you have to change every now and then. And then my airbrush has a filter as well, and it pipes outside because we open the window a little bit. And then this, like a dryer vac tubing pipes out all of that. So I try to contain as much of my, much of the particles in the air as possible. And I really don't prime. I prime maybe like twice a month. And I don't paint much with it. And when I do paint with my airbrush, I'm doing it at the same time I'm priming. And I do all my base coating and everything with it then. You think Warlord needs a brightly colored Japanese banner? He may. He may. I think he needs better leaves before he needs a banner. I'm just really not happy with the leaves on here. Here, I'm gonna put this back. Go back to this. So yeah, the leaves are kind of sad. Just don't feel real to me. It looks cool, but if I had a banner, it might distract from the leaves, but I think until I get better leaves, I won't be 100% happy. I'm really happy with how the sand and the coin turned out. Those came out perfect, exactly how I wanted them to. And those other pieces of relic coin that we stuck in there and added up, you know, just enough information that you look at it, but you don't dwell on anything here. So yeah, I'm really happy with him, and I'm glad we went with this base. It's nice and light, but it's very beautiful. So, twice the size of your filter. I think my notifications are not working. That's possible. Let me, yeah. Christopher, did you, possible my notifications aren't working. We've been having a little bit of Twitch issues. If you sent me a follow or if you did something, please let me know. Do @Shoshi's Minis to get my attention and tell me what happened, and I will properly credit and thank you if I'm getting any. Can I find a source for the brass leaves? I will look. That's a good idea, Amberton. I think the brass ones may be a little better. You subbed. Oh, thank you so much. Let me write that down. It might be delayed too. Twitch has been wonky. Let me go see if the hold on, I'll go check. Yeah, my stream label just says, oh, it says that Haluka Paints followed. I am definitely missing stuff, and we've got Nuclear Fission, House has been hosted, Agent Made subscribed, Haluka Paints followed. Thank you so much. I'm writing you down here. And then I have Commander Root has followed, but I did not get you yet, but hopefully it will show up. And if it doesn't, resub too. Super Sarah resubbed. Thank you. You guys, I'm so glad you told me, because it really means a lot to me that you guys sub, and I hate missing those things. There, 1313. Christopher 2. I love it. Thank you guys. Your subs really mean a lot to me, and like I said, you will get benefits from that because I'm having emotes made. So emotes are going to be great because all of my subs are going to get like I think 12 emotes at tier 1, and then I think you get an extra one at tier 2 and an extra one at tier 3, right? So we're going to get all that. Plus Draco 80 followed earlier. Thank you. If I didn't see you online, well, if you did it offline, I probably missed it, but I still really appreciate it. Draco 80. Here we go. All right, I've got something else planned for us because I knew that video wouldn't take too long. I got a commission of a Death model. Ooh, I have 2 Kingdom Death models that are commissions. I'm going to show you both of them. This is the first one, and I don't know if you guys recognize this guy. If you recognize him, you're probably going to be freaking out because I'm pretty excited about this. Anybody recognize him? Look, he's got big wings. He's from Kingdom Death. As it says here, Kingdom Death Poots 2009. He is not one of the regular Kingdom Death minis for sure. He's really rare. You know what it is, Tyrillian. Go ahead and tell us. I know who he is. He's not the Chosen. I will give you that hint. He's not the Chosen. I did have to fill a little bit of Bondic back here because there were some gaps. Because I didn't want to take his wings off, so that might be interesting to paint with his wings folded over right over here. I'll give Trillian a chance to answer, and then I'll show you guys the other Kingdom Death commission that I have. It is Nico. Yes, it's Blessed, the Blessed from the grab bag. You got, oh, that's right, Trillian, that's right, he is yours. Yes. So Blessed is super rare and super special. So we're painting that for Trillian. He's very excited. And I am very excited because of the detailing and all the feathers, and I love painting feathers. The last model that I had that had a lot of feathers was the dude from Warhammer, Magnus the Red. He is really cool. All right, and then this is Nico. I don't think I'll be painting on her on stream. She's a little bit naked over her, but I think I've painted her before. So she's got a bunch of little parts, and we're gonna make her with this base, which I think it looks like, I think this is it's either a Secret Reverend base or it's a, oh my goodness, keyboard mate. So that I was going to build her. Maybe I can build her on stream. Let's see. I definitely can do that. She's got so many different weapons. She's got a cape. She's got a loincloth, thank goodness, so we can put that on her. Cover up the booty. Maybe. So I was originally planning on building her, but she's got such little parts, and I'm not really sure exactly which ones the client wants 100%. So I know this piece for sure is gonna go on there. This little red symbol. It's a blood mage symbol or something. But I've got another mini we can build. Grab it. It's another Kingdom Death mini. And we'll build that instead because I don't want to mess up a commission by putting the wrong pieces on. It won't be very exciting for you to see me just put stuff on dowel rods and sub-assemble. All right, so put that away. I'll put Blessed away. Blessed. You know what we could do? We could do a little painting. I do have Old Joe. Paint Old Joe. This is mine. So it doesn't matter too much what happens to him. I actually had him primed and he didn't look good, so I re-primed him. And that's one of the nice things about priming is that if at first you don't succeed, just paint it over because you just prime it all black and start over. The priming is so thin, it can take many coats. All right, so let me grab my water. We're going to paint. Put some water on my sponge. By the way, guys, did you get the announcement that the Redgrass Games Kickstarter is shipping? A lot of people are going to be getting their stuff really soon, including myself. I ordered, I backed them, and I got the studio palette, as well as a whole bunch of these hydration sheets, which, gosh, I love them. They're so great. If you don't have one of their palettes and sponges and stuff, I think even if you just have these sheets and some paper towels, that is a good start. Kind of the cheaper way to do it, but I 100% recommend them. Recommend the company. Already got your web palette? Oh my goodness, that's so amazing. I got my tracking number, so I'm not sure exactly when it's coming out. All right, let's look at Joe. We're gonna do the lantern. First off, brightest thing, I'm going to use a little intense yellow, maybe a tiny bit of this poster paint fluorescent yellow. I got a bunch of these fluorescents from Michael's because they were dirt cheap, and you know, you're never gonna use that much fluorescent paint, so it doesn't hurt to buy a little bit. You're a bit bummed it didn't arrive in time for your bathing class? Aw. Alright, let me see if I can get this open without spilling too much. There we go. So I'm going to use some of these are those slow fuse brushes. I think I'm going to use these on the fluorescent paint. So I think the final verdict on these, I liked the slow fuse, whatchamacallits, these right here. I like the Balmwick utility brushes a lot. They work great, and for the price point, they're beautiful. I'm just still not ready to get some of these because they're just not holding their shape too good. This is after only a few uses on the Kolinsky Sable, and it's not holding a tip. So I can use it for anything now, which I will dip it in the fluorescent paint. And I'm going to paint the lantern up. I gotta thin it a little bit. Put the brightest amount up here. So it's Friday, isn't it? What plans? Anybody have any? I know like 4th of July, which is American Independence Day, when we got our independence from North Britain, or North, why am I saying North Britain? From Great Britain. We got our independence. One of my favorite holidays, and I'll tell you why 4th of July is my favorite holiday. It's not because I'm ultra patriotic. It's because it only lasts one day. The 4th of July. It only lasts one day. This is the Intensity ink. You don't have to buy anything for anybody. You get to go to parades if you want. You get to do picnics if you want. You get to go to fireworks, which I love, and I find, well, that's not doing a single thing. But I will go ahead with this ink. Boy, that ink is not pigmented. What happened? Take it. Might have to drag out a different one. I was told by Alfonso Hiraldes that he helped design the inks, and that yellow was the only one he wasn't super happy with. So I'm saying that it's fun, and it's not a whole holiday season exactly. Exactly. It's also not in the winter, which is also not a favorite time for me either. I have seasonal affective disorder, and my vitamin D gets very low during that time. Oh, there we go. There we go. I'm just gonna, and the reason why I'm doing this is just to give us an undercoating of yellow, so that anything I put on top will have at least that lightness to it. Yeah, I really love 4th of July. It's my favorite. No pressure. There's no pressure with the 4th of July. Just maybe some partying, you know? Do a little bit up here. Up closer to you guys so you can see that better. That's a lot. Now, I'm gonna have to tame all that back. But we've got at least the lights set in. Hey, Drax, I like your little emote. That's so cute. Have I had a problem? I've only used one Rosemary Company brush at all, and so I can't say, but I did have problems with the one I got. But I don't like to judge a brush off of one or two times of a use, so I can't say, but I do like Broken Toad. I've been using these, and even though, look at that, so that's not holding its shape, but as soon as I put it in the water, it's not any better, is it? Maybe I can't. Points up a little better. Let me see the scale, or these. Yeah, see, that one doesn't really have a point. It's because of the springiness. Each brush is always going to be a little different, and everybody's going to like a different amount of springiness. I think the reason why I like this Velcro is because they're actually pretty short, and I feel like I have a lot more control because the brush is so short. And that's just a personal preference. I think I like them even better than Winsor Newton. And Winsor Newton, you know, is pretty much a tried and true staple in this industry. So, you know, let's go with some rainy gray. I'm gonna tone down some of the colors on him. You disown those miserable colonials. You're always taking the piss. You guys, you British always take the piss about us during this time. You're just jealous. Barbecue, yes. I'm a huge barbecue fan. See now, when I paint that gray right over that yellow, it's still tinted yellow because it's like stained glass, and it layers right on top. We're going to speed paint Joe. You're going to see a very fast version. Okay. Wherever there is some shadow that the yellow left, I'm going to put some of that gray. And then I will eventually make that gray darker too. Wizard Bunny, that's such an awesome name. You've used and abused your size 2 Broken Toad and it still has a point? That's awesome. Now, Jen Haley and Aaron Lovejoy have been talking about this new brush that got kickstarted. Can't remember what the name of it is. If somebody knows, feel free to tell me in chat. But they've been giving it good reviews, and I'm very wary about even, you know, I always have to try something out for myself because, like I said, a brush is a personal thing, and just because other people like it doesn't mean I'm gonna like it. And that's why, you know, that's why some of you guys might like the Velcro, some of you guys might not. Some of you guys might like Slow Fuse's brush, but you know, whatever is your personal preference is going to be what works best. All right, there's a lot of dark back here. That means I need another color. Let's do, let me see. I want a real dark color. I'm going to mix a little bit of dark sea blue, which is a really dark blue, and I'm going to pick like a dark red, like this one, Arbuckle's Brown. Yeah, the Artist Opus. Thank you for reminding me that name, Amberden. That was the one I couldn't remember the name of. All right, now I mix these two together, dark sea blue and Arbuckles, to get a really nice deep dark. See how pretty that is? You don't even know that that's not black. That's just a super dark color. And now I can wet blend some of this gray in here. Get that black, that, I don't know what I'm going to call it. My blue black mix. And a little bit of this gray. Wet blend here. The yellow stays a little bit. We lost it. Right. Ah. Nope. Sometimes you'll lose your yellow if you paint over it sometimes. You know a few who are not oppressed because they didn't age well. Yeah. That's the other thing. I'm very picky with, because I'm so hard on brushes. So brushes have to age well for me too. Ooh, you can see a little bit of that yellow. It's just really faint. I like it though. And slowly add a little bit of our gray up here. Especially in the shadows. Blendy blend. Works. And then I'm going to go back in with my dark color. Nurgle paint scheme flick. Alright. That's good. Let's do with the dark back down in here. Well, the top of this lantern, I'm going to give it this dark color as well. Because I imagine that the light is bouncing off of it, but I also imagine that it's backlit some. And let's use a little bit of that yellow. Bad. Use a little bit of mix of the yellow and that. Okay. Moving some of my shadows. See, we get the heavy. That's the thing about this guy. He needs severe contrast. Now, skin tones. Let's make him have this brown, Dubai brown as a base, and then we'll work up to more of a medium skin tone, like a medium. Just dip him. Zap. That would be easy, wouldn't it? All right, let's try the skin tone up here. Paint this whole part brown. We can add some of this dark color in here, and so we have a little bit of our contrast still that we're keeping. There's our brown again. Trying to keep it even. Bad. Now the foots. Right, quickly brushing over the toes so that I don't cover all his little toe shadow. There's a little blob, something. I got it. I think it's, you got to be careful with that floral foam because it sheds everywhere, and if it gets in your paint, it's a mess. I missed the PebCac error asking if I want to do contract work. I did miss that. PebCac error, just send me a message on Facebook, probably is the best way to do it, or, you know, through any of my social medias. Like I said, Facebook is my primary, but if you want to send it through, through Twitch as well, you can also. But depending on what sort of contract work it is, I'm interested in taking a look at what you have to offer. I've done a little bit of contract work. And working for individual clients is a lot more fun. But I am open. Okay, so let's go back and do his chest and belly brown. When I'm getting closer to the yellow parts on his ribs, I kind of stop a little bit short. And I'm going to take just a wet brush and thin it out as I get closer to it. Because I don't want a big opaque stripe. I just want his brown tone's brown and the yellow tone's yellow. We're going to get in here with the dark. My shadow. Back to brown. We've been having some weirdness with my alerts and stuff and everything today, and you're terrified with the vampire bus, the X-Wing? Don't be terrified. Okay, so here's the thing. If this is your first bust, you need to look at it, this is a practice bust, okay? So practice means you're going to make mistakes, and you're supposed to make mistakes because it's practice. But it's nothing you can't fix. We'll show you how to fix anything that we quote unquote mess up on. I think that's where you probably want the most help, is learning how to fix mistakes, because you will make them, and you cannot succeed without making mistakes. I iterate that. All right, going in here, I'm gonna paint his little old man head. Not properly zoomed in today because I was doing the other video. Now I recommend that when you're doing skin tones like this, go ahead and switch. Well, I guess you can do flat, but I like to switch to satin. I think skin looks better because skin is not matte. And it looks a little weird when you get a matte texture in here. Pull it off. Nose. Get it off. A little harder to make skin look real when it's completely matte, at least in my opinion. Going in and picking out all the little outside mess. Oh, there's another cat hair. There's a lot of lint on this guy. He's been, he comes, oh, there we go. That's a good one. Guys. Cat hair. You can always strip her. I would not strip. That's the only thing that we're probably gonna have a slight difference on, is that I don't strip. I just finish. Stripping, I feel like, I mean, you can do it, but I wouldn't, just because you lose the opportunity to remember your mistakes. Sometimes if you're constantly stripping, you're not letting yourself make those mistakes you need to make and learn how to fix stuff. And sometimes those happy accidents, sometimes you just have to paint your way through the ugly phase. And if you're stripping all the time, you're never letting yourself get to that ugly phase. All right, now we're going lightly over the yellow now with the brown. See how that changes? Yellow just a little bit. And not a fan of stripping models. I think people learn more when they don't. Simple green doesn't exist. I think you guys have, do you have purple power flick? I shouldn't be telling you this. I don't want you guys to strip stuff. Just paint over it. Especially if you use something thin, like an airbrush to base. Definitely don't need to be stripping all the time. Pretty here. Yellow arm. Right. All done with that. I'm going to go to the next color, which I think I want to be a lighter version of that gray color we had. So let's see. For Joe's skin, I want to eventually highlight up to, I'm going to highlight up to this color, orange leather. We'll go from brown to orange, and we'll eventually get to peach. I'm going to mix a little bit of this orange with his original base color to get sort of the next step, and we're going to layer next stage. going to be kind of like a, what Sam Len says, it's shingles on a roof, right? It's a little lighter than the next layer. There, I like that. Falcon. Funny. Only time you ever stripped a model was when you bought one on eBay and it was painted halfway already as an ultramarine. That makes sense. Like if you're trying to get rid of somebody else's old paint job, that's an exception. You can strip then. But if you're trying to strip your old mistakes, don't. Just start a new model. All right, a little bit dark back there. I think I missed that whole back of his calf. A little bit, I'm going to use a little bit of this blue. Go back here. Got our dark in there. Now we're going to lighten back up with the brown. How do I avoid clear lines between the layers? I will show you. So let me take my glasses off so I can see. What I do is so I've got my dark here. The way you avoid the clear lines is you don't transition from a dark color straight to a light color. You do thin layers. And let's do a transition. Hold on, let me get my glasses. We're going to transition from that brown to this pink. Okay? I'm going to shake this up and put this on my palette. And I'm going to show you the oh my goodness, look at this happened. It went everywhere. That's what happens when you put one of the fantasy. They're a little bit thin. So here we have the dark brown that we started with, and then the orange, and then we're going to shade up to this pink. I'm going to put this way over here, and there's a reason why I'm doing that. Because I'm going to use this utility brush, move paint over here, put it over here, and then mix them in the middle. More pink on this side here. And make it, see how I make kind of a run. I don't know what to call it. There's probably a name for it. But I've got my going to dark. Let's make a run with these two. See, there's a mid-tone in the middle there. Now we have a full range, light to dark. And if we slowly paint these on in stages using transitions that go maybe 1 or 2 steps rather than 1 to this step. Don't go from this step to that step. Go through the steps. So for instance, I'm going to start out with this lighter orange here, and then I'm going to paint my highlight on. See how that's, you see that pretty well. There's a clear definition. That means I need to go back down a little bit. A little bit lower. And the way you apply the brush onto the mini also makes a difference. Now I'm going to go up a step to this more mid. And it's already wet, so I can kind of wet blend it in a way. Now see how that's a bright. I'm going to go back down 1 step. Back down 1 step more. There's my brown. You go all the way back down to this brown because that is really light. and blending it. Now let's try this pink again. The straight pink. And now it's very wet right now, so that means I can really wet blend it. Get my brush wet. Make sure to take the excess water off. Didn't do with my mouth because it's a bad idea. A little bit more pink. I'm pulling my brush back down to the knee because the knee is where that little depository of paint is going to land. So there can be a hard edge there. The rest of the places, I don't need a hard edge. That's where I'm kind of leaving my brush to have a tail. Am I making any sense? I feel like I'm talking gibberish. Yes, this is an Everlasting Wet Palette, Falcon Punch. We are sponsored by them. I'm a proud sponsee. So you guys can see more and more pink slow. You really do, you're not going to wet blend. You want to let each layer dry in between. There, I'm going to let that dry while I wait for the next. Now here's the orange again. Right. Okay though. I'm going to go back to my brown and I'm going to wet blend it a little bit. There, see? God. I do see a little bit of a line here. Come in and smooth it. Smooth anything that you want smoothed. Now, over here we've got light, so I'm going to make these a lot harder. Less transitions, less blending. Got his abs. Be nice and pink. That's because there's light there, and those shadows can be less transition. Now I'm going to use that orange over here, because this shadow has a highlight, but it's got a dark highlight, right? Does that make sense? Here's the brown. Move that in. Because even shadows get highlighted. That's something that I often missed out on when I'm learning. Knee kind of grabs the last of the paint. Exactly. Yep. Exactly. Now let's do the top of the head. I'm going to go straight to my pink up here, and I'm going to go, see how I'm painting back toward the top of the head, the apex? That's because that's where that deposit paint's going to go. I could also go down toward the eyebrows because the eyebrows are another stopping point for the paint. How do I say the name? Ibagazer? I think that's how I say your name. Now, yeah, now I'm painting toward his eyebrows in that direction and down his nose because that's going to give me the best highlight and cheekbones. Got a crack in his head. Why does he have a crack in his head? Say no to crack. All right, let me put this aside and write down our newest follower. Thank you. Oh, I'm glad that's making sense for you. Good. I like to take time and explain stuff. And we got a new follower over here. E-E-A. Yay, thank you so much for the follow. I'm scaring you with the mini right over the paint. Oh, yes, it has happened before. That's funny. I know. I apologize. Let's do a little bit of that yellow in there. I just feel like, yeah, that's much better. It looks a little more natural now. I added some of the brown to my yellow paint. I feel like it's more natural that he's got that on. No, just a skosh. Here we go, skosh of pink, yellow. Add more to the top of his head too. When I pull this up, I'm gonna leave, my brush is gonna stop apex of his head. Okay. Boom. Back of his hand. Looks more like a human being. There's too much yellow in his arm. Needs more pink. Better for that. Looking alive. And we can go back with the brown again over here. There is paint in my brush that we can use for my highlights. Got a lighter color than what's on my palette. Okay. And then pink on his foot. That has a lot more light on it. Nope, there's no drop command. Oh, I do drop stuff a lot, but it's not become a thing here in our chat. Maybe if we get a dropped emote or something, that can become a thing. Oh, he's coming along, isn't he? Let's do a little highlight on this toe. Just a little pink highlight. I got my passes, my parking passes from Gen Con recently. I totally forgot to tell you guys. I'm gonna be at Gen Con. I'm gonna be in the Poots Kingdom Death line booth line for a lot of it. I'm gonna be teaching classes. All right, the back. I don't like the back at all. Let's fix this. Needs to be pinks up here. There we go. And again, we're gonna have a hard line because the light abruptly stops. We don't have as much highlighting going on back in the back. So we can go to more of the orange rather than the pink. Although this part of his back is going to be a little bit more highlighted because this lantern is back here too. Yeah, that looks good. Studio Dropship, how's it going? Hey, welcome everybody who came from Studio Dropship's stream. It is Friday afternoon. We're painting up a little Kingdom Death. We were watching a video of how I primed Karol Rudyk bust. Finished that up, and now we're painting Old Joe. Old Joe from Kingdom Death, and I need more orange because this is one of those situations where he needs more darker highlights on shadowed areas. Right? Still highlighted even though it's a darker area. I remember the first time I learned to do that and I was just blown away. I was like, oh my gosh, I get it. I mean, more highlighting on his top of his head too. Let's do a little yellow in there. That feels just right. Hey, Memnor. Super Sarah says, my husband gave me a great metal reference that will make any painter super jelly. He gave you a little titanium tube where the metal's not been shined. Part of the metal has been shined and the edges show the colors from where heat has affected the color, looking more like, so no more looking online. Oh, that's great. You know, that would only work for round surfaces, and he got you a flat piece too. That's so cool. Well, but just even if, I mean, that's just so cool that he did that for you as well. So sweet. All right, I've got some burgundy. I don't know why I feel like Joe needs some burgundy bandages. I'm gonna make them burgundy. I may not keep them burgundy, but the base coat is gonna. I might actually highlight those up to another color. We'll see. Ooh, I like that. Good with that, that purpley color. Looks really good with all that yellow on him too. To here, I'm gonna get all of the little pieces of bandages in the middle. Now, this is where I glaze over the yellow. Let's see what happens. We want that bandage to still be magenta, but be as if it's being lit. And that worked perfect. Good. And he's got wristbands too. Good morning, Jan. How are you? We had our priming stream today where we primed Elsybeta, the vampire bust. It did not go by without a hitch, but it actually wasn't unsuccessful either. Pretty happy with the outcome. Burgundy on his wrists. Is anybody going to be doing any barbecuing this weekend? We're going to be barbecuing a ton, actually. Got that big green egg out back, and 4th of July weekend, or at least pre-4th of July weekend, because it's weird. 4th of July is in the middle of the week this year. Gonna give him a little burgundy straps on his belt as well. Yeah, put it over here. All right, go. It is the old survivor. His name is Old Joe, and he's got a club. Some kind of, and I don't know what this club is made of, but it's a weird one. I think what I'm going to do, I don't know why, I feel like it's made of like body parts or tongues or something, so I'm going to give it sort of a fleshy colored look. Yes. What I'll do is I'll do this base coat, and then I'll cheat, which is actually not cheating, and use a little Reichland flesh shade or something to get my details in. My oranges and my pink. By blending. I probably could use a bigger brush on this. What is the light source? Remember, the light source is a little lantern right here. We made it kind of whitish dark. Could be probably a little bit. Actually, I gotta show you guys something. I'm gonna try this. Let's paint this thinly over the rest of that yellow, because I feel like if we make that darker, actually, it will make the lantern itself that much, that much brighter. Yeah. Worked. You're lurk modding. Don't be sorry. He's always sorry for lurk modding, and he knows I don't mind. Funny. I'd rather have you lurk mod than me not have any mods. So I'm happy you're here. Lighter and lighter as we go. Whoa, cool. We got a name that I will not be able to write. It looks like it's in Korean. Annyeong. I don't, that's the only Korean I know. Annyeong. And welcome. I'm sure Jan knows more than I do. He would be able to greet anybody in probably fluent Korean. Yeah, okay, so something's going on here with the yellow, the fluorescent yellows coming through. It's okay. It's not ideal. I think I want more of a soft, glowy yellow. Maybe this near yellow will be helping. Oh, here we go. I'm gonna thank him for it is. Oh, there's no match. All right, so I need this near yellow. That's what I was going to use. It'll look good with this burgundy as well. And I'm just going to soften up a few of my highlights on the edges of the fabric only. Pop up a little bit. Get the edge of this lantern as well. Try a fantasy color yellow for more sheen. Yeah, but I don't want to right now. I like the near yellow is less translucent, and fantasy color, because it has sheen, but it's also not. It's way more harder to paint with because of that. The flat paint is a lot more opaque, and it will cover better. Oh, there we go. You can, I can tell it's looking better on camera already. Might be out of place, but if the light source on his is on his belt, wouldn't the highlight on his right arm be on the underside? Yes, it would. I just haven't think what it was when I was airbrushing it. I didn't get it like that. I think that's what happened. Let's try adding some pink and yellow to the bottom of his arm. Oh, that's too. You're right, it should be under there. It's a tricky place to be painting too. It needs to be under his rib cage as well. Let's go with the yellow. Definitely awkward place. I'm going to mix a little bit of this yellow with a little bit of my peach. I'm not transitioning from the peach to the yellow well enough. See how it looks chalky? Anytime you have these chalky colors, it's because there's white in the pigment and it dries differently, and it can dry real chalky and real sticky. There, that's starting to look better. Let's use a little bit of brown on the top, a little bit of orange rather. Better. Now I need to get his face. Yeah, that's why you thought the end of the staff was light. No, yeah, I get you. And I think, yeah, I highlighted the wrong side of his head as well. Let's try this and look better. Oh, you know what? We're about out of time. Let me finish this part of his face real quick so you know that he's getting the right amount of light. Brush is acting funny for me. All right. Music. Go. Much better. We'll get all that blended in, and I'll finish him another time. So, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We are going to be hosting somebody cool, and on Monday we'll have probably some things to paint. I may paint the Blessed. Brilliant. Maybe if you're still here, hopefully you'll get to see that. Other than that, if we don't paint the Blessed, we'll be painting this guy right here. Hold on. We're painting this guy from Confrontation. That is going to be one of our giveaways this month also. We talked about him. All right. I'm going to look for somebody cool. I'm going to host. See. See who is live. Woohoo! Hey. Let's see. Make sure I find somebody you can have fun with and art. Yeah. He's painting a Deepkin Alopex in a little contest. Well, we will host Giuliano Art. That's who we're going to host. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put in here Mad Love from Shoshi's Minis, and I want everybody to raid this guy. You can send him, copy and paste this, so when we go to raid this guy, he will be happy. So this works. I think I might have done the wrong exclamation point. Not. So try this. That work? Nope, that did not work. On stream. There we go. All right, we're rating. Don't leave. let's get back to the other guy. When we get to there, hit copy paste, and so that you can paste into his chat. Going on a raid. All right, guys, you have a great weekend. We will see you on Monday.
We paint miniatures.